Hi, so today I thought I'd do a quick review, turn the lights on, it's a bit brighter, on the Dualtron Thunder, which is basically a 5.4 kilowatt, 35 amp hour beast. If I move it to where there's a bit more light, okay, so firstly, the scooter itself has a claimed max speed of 50 miles per hour, but so far I've been able to do about 94 kilometers an hour on it. So I think realistically you could get up to 60 miles per hour out of this. So I've had a few electric scooters. I had the McCain MX-60 before, which was a fantastic scooter, but this is a completely different animal. The fact that each motor has, I think around 2.7 kilowatts of power, so 2,700 watts per motor peak power. So I've only had the scooter a couple of days. I've already fallen off of it once. One of the things I would say on this is that it doesn't have any indicators, and I came off it because I'd put my arm out to try and signal what way I was going. So a couple of things that I would highlight with this is the suspension. Now, I got this straight from Dualtron, and the suspension on it is really stiff. Sorry, it doesn't move. I mean, even when I stand on it, you barely notice that it's got suspension. So probably you'd probably want to change the cartridge for a softer one. The other thing that's really interesting with the Dualtron is the fact that it has 3 charging ports. So it has 2 standard charging ports, and the reason for that is that you can either charge it with one standard charger, which takes around 20 hours from flat, or 2 chargers to cut the charging time down to 10 hours. So, it is a slow process to charge it from flat. But for most people, you put it in your garage at night, it's probably going to be more than 10 hours between intervals of using it. So I do recommend 2 chargers. When you buy it from Dualtron, you only get 1 standard charger. And then there's the fast charging port. This actually reduces charging time down to 6 hours. But unfortunately, if you want the fast charger, it's £200 just for the fast charger. Some of the other points I'd make out is that the McCain MX-60, which I had raised rubber pads on the deck, whereas this doesn't. You've just got the standard grip tape. The problem with this is that no matter how much you want to keep it pristine, it will get scratched and damaged. Now, the other thing I would say that's actually really smart with this scooter is the fact that these plastic covers here, or light surrounds, these actually protrude slightly further out than the deck. So when I came off of mine and the scooter slid along the road a little bit, it scratched these, but it didn't do any damage to the board. So these covers are actually replaceable. You can take them off. Again, if you live in the UK, it is very hard to get any parts for the scooter. Even Dualtron themselves, you're going to have a bit of a wait. So the other thing with this scooter is the brakes. It has standard nut brakes, which are hydraulic. Now, the other thing that's really interesting with this is that it has electronic ABS. I thought it was a joke when I read it, but no, it genuinely does have it. Is it good? Not really. It's not a pleasant experience when it does activate. It's really jerky on the wheels. It's not, I don't think it's true ABS, I'm not sure, but either way, most people that I know disable this. The general build quality of this is very good. I mean, it should be for the price. In the UK, it's £3,100. So it's not a cheap scooter whatsoever. So if we come up to the dash. So we have an EY3 instrument panel. I haven't actually tightened this up yet. And when we press it on, we get all the standard stuff you would expect on a scooter. We get the people call it gears. They're not gears. It's just basically a power mode. So you have 1, 2, 3 in terms of power mode, and that just limits the top speed. It doesn't do anything else. You've got a timer. You've got a tripometer, odometer, and you've probably got some other features on here. What's really interesting as well is it actually has hazard lights. So when you switch that on, you have hazard lights. So that's the really frustrating thing, I think, with the scooter, is the fact that there's hazard lights, but there's no indicators. So not entirely sure why they didn't add indicators, because for most people, you're going to want to be able to signal what way you're going. I can tell you now, you cannot take your hands off of this if you're going at any speed whatsoever, because of how high up it is, and because of the way that the wheel's centered, it will wobble, and you'll go to grab it and you'll come off of it. The lighting is really, really nice. When you first turn it on, it cycles through colors. Looks a bit tacky. When you just select a color that goes with the LEDs under the footplate, it does look much better. But I would say, it is a very nice looking scooter, and this definitely does get attention. But what you don't want it to end up looking like, is a chavs, house party. So you can't change the lighting under the deck. It always stays blue, but you can switch it off. So here there's a button. You just press that and you can turn all the lighting off and continue to use the scooter. So the other points I would note as well is it has a quick release and a fold down system. So you literally would just slide this up. Sometimes you do have to slacken the nut off a little bit. It can be a bit of a palaver to get that up, and it will scratch. That's the other thing that's quite frustrating. I would say it's probably worth putting some WD-40, just a very slight layer of WD-40 on this, because as the bracket comes up and down, it will start to take the paint off of this. And if you fold it down regularly, you're not going to want this to start looking tatty, because obviously, the paint will only last so long, and it's already coming off on my fingers. But there is a locking plate I haven't fitted yet. But the overall construction of this is very, very solid, very solid. So, I would say that for most people that, are thinking, well, £3,000 for a scooter, is it really worth that much money? But in all honesty, for the speed and the actual build quality, it is worth the money. I'd probably say it's slightly overpriced. I'd expect something like this to be more around maybe the £2,000 to £2,500 mark. £3,000 is, is car and motorbike territory. So when you tell people based on electric scooter, but in reality, for anyone that does buy the scooter, you'll forget about what you paid for it when you go out on it, because the power is exceptional. It's not like any other scooter. 5,400 watts of power. Just bear in mind that most scooters like the Xiaomi M365, I think, is either 350 watts or 500 watts. This is 5,400. So I have no words. I'll do another video and I'll do an upload of me doing, 90, 95 kilometers an hour on it, and you'll see. And I'll also do a video sort of covering the acceleration. One other thing as well, obviously you've got the single and dual motors. Single motor is still very quick. It will leave most scooters behind, even on single motor. I have ridden the Kaboo Wolf Warrior and the Tech Life, but I have to say that the Dualtron is definitely the superior scooter in my opinion. The other thing as well, a lot of people said that these suffer from play, but in reality it is absolutely solid. I haven't had any problems with the play whatsoever. Very, very rigid frame. So, you know, maybe as the scooter ages, I don't know, but from the way that this goes round and clamps, I'd find it very strange that there would be any ability for there to be any play. The other really nice thing as well with this is the fact that not only can you fold it here, but you can also flip these up and you can basically pull this across and you can actually fold the handles down, which is really, really convenient. So, you know, this is a really, really well thought out scooter. You know, that is really good. Now, one other thing actually, just before I wrap the video up, is the range. So I can tell you now, the range on this is outstanding. Even when I've, you know, been at full chat pretty much for the whole journey, I'm averaging about 60 plus miles on a full charge. So overall, a fantastic scooter.